What happened between Blake Lively and Justin Baldwin is still happening, A lot can still happen in the next year, as the trial isn't even supposed to commence until March of next year. On the other hand, we will discuss recent developments in the court dispute. Even an intimacy coordinator is speaking out. A documentary about them has just been released. We will go over all of the recent developments and address all of the many points of contention. Blake Lively and Justin Baldwin are embroiled in a huge court dispute, as we are all likely know by now. The two are suing each other and others. The whole thing started in December 2024, when Blake filed a complaint, accusing Justin of inappropriate behavior on the set of It Ends With Us. Blake said that Justin improvised sexual sequences without permission and made unwanted comments. According to her, this fostered an awful work atmosphere, which in turn caused her a great deal of emotional pain and other problems. In contrast, Justin has refuted the claims and countersued Blake for $400 million, claiming that Blake extorted him and defamed him. Following the publication of her complaint in the New York Times, he proceeded to sue the newspaper for libel. Now we're in March of 2025, and the legal dispute has clearly heated up, since it has been in the news constantly. In order to ensure that sensitive information, such as Blake's private conversations with other celebrities, remained hidden from the public gaze throughout the trial's discovery phase, his legal team filed a protective order. In a recent article for The Independent, her lawyer discussed the importance of keeping certain types of medical information private, including mental health records. She also mentioned that while having personal conversations with unrefined third parties would have great public relations value, they would have almost no evidentiary value, so it's best to keep them out of the public eye. The discovery documents would name dozens upon dozens of third parties, according to Garinsky, and there's a good danger that information involving high-profile persons who are unrelated to the case but slightly relevant may slip into the wrong hands, perhaps causing irreparable harm. A federal judge issued a modified protection order in the continuing legal battle on March 13th, which some are describing as a little victory for Blake. The purpose of this order is to ensure that certain sensitive materials remain secret throughout the pretrial process. The parties have the option to designate certain discovery items as secret or reserved for attorney review, according to the ruling. Confidential information, such as trade secrets, security protocols, medical records, and private details concerning third parties, must be designated as eyes only by the attorney. Anyone associated with the case, including their insurers, legal representatives, and specific specialists, can view materials marked confidential. However, only legal counsel and specific individuals, including the parties themselves, may be listed as attorneys. Keep in mind that the pre-trial discovery process is mostly regulated by this protective order. Evidence presented in court may not remain secret, according to the judge, who hinted that the records could end up in the public domain. The lawyer for Justin made a statement after the verdict in TMZ, in contrast to Ms. Lively's wildly expansive document request that spanned over 2.5 years, which the court correctly rejected. We wholeheartedly support the court's decision to grant limited protections to categories like private mental health records and personal security measures, neither of which have ever interested us. Furthermore, he states, they continued by reporting that Blake's legal team had spoken out, stating that Mrs. Lively will now be able to move on with discovery in order to gather even more evidence to support her claims in court. Documentary filmmakers have taken an interest in this judicial fight, as if the situation needed more drama. He said, she said, Blake Lively vs. Justin Baldwin is a 90-minute special that will premiere on March 31 in the United States and on Max and Discovery Plus in the United Kingdom. A condensed version of the show will premiere in the United States on March 31. This documentary will analyze the claims, the proof, and the online uproar that has surrounded this case. The dynamic between Justin and Blake was further complicated when an intimacy coordinator named Maya, who was unaffiliated with the film It Ends With Us, offered her thoughts on the story. One point in their text exchanges, she said in the video, demonstrated a feeling of true love and trust. Additionally, she supported Blake's decision to forego kissing scenes, viewing her behavior as a thoughtful effort to alleviate any discomfort that may have occurred during filming. She mentioned that it does usually show that they trust their scene partner, as stated on page 6 of the documentary. Those texts also led me to believe that she did, in fact, trust him at one point, she continued. Later on, she deconstructs the unedited tape that was made public earlier this year, showing Justin and Blake filming a montage scene for It Ends With Us. Nearly there. For the most part, we can't communicate with one another. Are lovers something you enjoy? Just like that, you'll know. Who knows? I'll never find out. We just won't stop talking, you know. As for Emily and I, we sometimes have these little periods where it's just for a few minutes. It's so terrible, I swear it would freak you out. We just do each other and enjoy each other's company, when the hands of time stand still. Indeed, it has been our experience right from the start. No, what we mean is that there's more. Once again, they succeed. It's as if I completely neglected to mention something else to you. Oh, I find that endearing. Your group is adorable. In my opinion, it's adorable. In an analysis of the raw production footage that was published by page 6, it was revealed that Shakta seemed to agree with Lively, who had stated that she wanted to avoid kissing the actor-director and had proposed that they converse instead during the slow dancing moment. According to Baldwin, Lively was trying to force her way into the production process, but according to Shakta, she wasn't. Watch as an actress tries to talk her co-worker out of kissing her, but instead of expressing her disapproval, she offers suggestions. According to Shakta, Blake Lively was being considerate by telling Justin Baldwin to stop trying to kiss me. This might be embarrassing for everyone there. This is happening while Ryan Reynolds is making every effort to deflect attention away from Justin's allegation. People reported this week that on Tuesday, March 18th, the 48-year-old star of Deadpool and Wolverine and his legal team moved to dismiss Baldwin's complaint against him. They argued that the claims made by the 41-year-old director of It Ends With Us have no merit, since the lawsuit centers on Reynolds allegedly accusing Baldwin of being a predator in private conversations. That does not meet the legal definition of slander, say Ezra Hudson and Reynolds' attorney, Mike Gottlieb. They went on to say that the whole thing with Mr. Baldwin seems to revolve around Mr. Reynolds, supposedly accusing Mr. Baldwin of being a predator in private, but that's where the issue arises. Defamation would need proof that Mr. Reynolds had no basis in fact for believing that statement to be false. A joint statement from Gottlieb and Hudson clarified that this was not an allegation in the lawsuit. Actually, it implies the exact reverse, that Mr. Reynolds truly thinks Mr. Baldwin is a predator. Listen, this is a complete disaster. In all candor, I feel like we've barely scratched the surface. While Blake does have some good news in the form of the protection order, the trial itself will not commence until March of 2026. It will be a social media extravaganza if the case records are made public. Let's be honest. Blake, on the one hand, is attempting to keep her private life and identity separate from this case. Justin, meanwhile, is adamant in his countersuit, maintaining that he has been falsely accused. Thrown into the mix is this documentary as well. How this development develops could have far-reaching consequences for both of their careers. And it's really crazy. Hollywood is keeping a careful eye on this. This trial is sure to be one of the most publicized court battles, regardless of your stance on the topic.